sit there, so we've got a bit of room.
and
Is there
then
something
make sure-
different that's
Oh,
nice?
yes, of course, sit where you feel comfortable.
endless treasury of compassion, bestower of supreme inner peace, you who love all beings without exception, are the source of happiness and goodness, and you guide us to the liberating path. Your body is a wish-fulfilling jewel. Your speech is supreme purifying nectar, and your mind is refuge for all living beings. With folded hands I turn to you, supreme unchanging friend. I request from the depths of my heart, please give me the light of your wisdom to dispel the darkness of my mind, and to heal my mental continuum. Please nourish me with your goodness, that I in turn may nourish all beings with an unceasing banquet of delight. Through your compassionate intention, your blessings and virtuous deeds, and my strong wish to rely upon you. May all suffering quickly cease, and all happiness and joy be fulfilled, and may holy Dhamma flourish forevermore. May the whole ground become completely pure, as level as the palm of a hand, and as smooth as lapis lazuli. May all of space be filled with offerings from gods and men, both set out and imagined, like offerings of the All Good One. In the space in front, on a lion throne, on a cushion of lotus, sun and moon, sits Buddha Shakyamuni, the essence of all my kind teachers, surrounded by the assembly of direct and indirect gurus, Yidams, Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, heroes, solitary conquerors, heroes, dakinis, and Dharma protectors. I and all my kind mothers, fearing ending samsara's torments. Turn to Buddha, Dharma and Sangha, the only sources of refuge. From now until enlightenment, to the three jewels we go for refuge. I and all sentient beings until we achieve enlightenment go for refuge to Buddha, Dharma and Sangha. I and all sentient beings until we achieve enlightenment go for refuge to Buddha, Dharma and Sangha. I and all sentient beings until we achieve enlightenment go for refuge to Buddha, Dharma and Sangha. I and all sentient beings until we achieve enlightenment go for refuge to Buddha, Dharma and Sangha. I and all sentient beings until we achieve enlightenment go for refuge to Buddha, Dharma and Sangha. I and all sentient beings until we achieve enlightenment go for refuge to Buddha, Dharma and Sangha. I and all sentient beings until we achieve enlightenment go for refuge to Buddha, Dharma and Sangha. Through the virtues I collect by giving another perfections, may I become a Buddha for the benefit of all. Through the virtues I collect by giving another perfections, may I become a Buddha for the benefit of all. Through the virtues I collect by giving another perfections, may I become a Buddha for the benefit of all. From the hearts of all refuge objects, light and nectar stream down and dissolve into myself and all living beings, purifying negative karma and obstructions, increasing our lives, our virtues, and Dharma realization. May everyone be happy. May everyone be free from misery. May no one ever be separated from their happiness. May everyone have equanimity, free from hatred and attachment. You, protector of all beings, great destroyer of hosts of demons, please, O Blessed One, Lord of all, come to this place with your retinue. With my body, speech, and mind, humbly I prostrate, and make offerings both set out and imagined. I confess my wrong deeds from all time, and rejoice in the virtues of all. Please stay until samsara ceases, and turn the wheel of Dharma for us. I dedicate all virtues to great enlightenment. The ground sprinkled with perfume and spread with flowers, the great mountain for land, sun and moon, seen as a Buddha land and offered thus. May all beings enjoy such pure lands. I offer without any sense of loss the objects that give rise to my attachment, hatred, and confusion, my friends, enemies, and strangers, our bodies and enjoyments. Please accept these and bless me to be released directly from the three poisons. Idam Guru Ratna Mandalakam Niryatayami. So now, my most kind root Guru, Please sit on the lotus and moon on my crown, and grant me out of your great kindness your body, speech, and mind's attainments. I make request to you, Buddha Shakyamuni, whose body comes from countless virtues, whose speech fulfills the hopes of mortals, whose mind sees clearly all existence. I make request to you, Gurus of the lineage of extensive deeds, Venerable Maitreya, noble Sangha Vasubandhu, and all the other precious teachers who have revealed the path of vastness. I make request to you, Gurus of the lineage of profound view, Venerable Manjushri Nagarjuna Chandrakirti, and all the other precious teachers who have revealed the most profound path. I make request to you, Gurus of the lineage of secret mantra, Conqueror Vajradhara, Tilopa, and Naropa, and all the other precious teachers who have revealed the path of Tantra. I make request to you, Gurus of the old Kadam lineage, the second Buddha, Tisha, Drom, Tompa, Geshe, Potawa, and all the other precious teachers who have revealed the union of vast and profound paths. I make request to you, Gurus of the new Kadam lineage, Venerable Tsongkhapa, Jampa, Gyatso, Kedrupche, and all the other precious teachers who have revealed the union of Sutra and Tantra. I make request to you, Venerable Khalsang Gyatso, protector of a vast ocean of living beings, unequal teacher of the paths to liberation and enlightenment, who accomplish and explain everything that was revealed by the fourth deliverer of this fortunate eon. I make request to you, my kind precious teacher, who care for those with uncontrolled minds, untamed by all the previous Buddhas, as if they were fortunate disciples. Please pour down your inspiring blessings upon myself and all my mothers, so that we may quickly stop all perverse minds from disrespect for our kind teacher, to the most subtle jewel appearance. Please pour down your inspiring blessings, so that we may quickly generate pure minds from respect for our kind teacher, to the supreme mind of union. Please pour down your inspiring blessings to pacify all outer and inner obstructions. Please pour down your inspiring blessings upon myself and all my mothers, so that we may quickly stop all perverse minds from disrespect for our kind teacher, to the most subtle jewel appearance. Please pour down your inspiring blessings, so that we may quickly generate pure minds from respect for our kind teacher, to the supreme mind of union. Please pour down your inspiring blessings to pacify all outer and inner obstructions. Please pour down your inspiring blessings upon myself and all my mothers, so that we may quickly stop all perverse minds from disrespect for our kind teacher, to the most subtle jewel appearance. Please pour down your inspiring blessings, so that we may quickly generate pure minds from respect for our kind teacher, to the supreme mind of union. Please pour down your inspiring blessings to pacify all outer and inner obstructions. From the hearts of all the holy beings, streams of light and nectar flow down. granting blessings and purifying. The path begins with strong reliance on my kind teacher, source of all good. Oh, bless me with this understanding to follow him with great devotion. This human life with all its freedoms extremely rare, with so much meaning. Oh, bless me with this understanding all day and night, to seize its essence. My body like a water bubble decays and dies so very quickly. After death come results of karma, just like the shadow of a body. With this for knowledge and remembrance, bless me to be extremely cautious, always avoiding harmful actions and gathering abundant virtue. Samsara's pleasures are deceptive, give no contentment, only torment. So please bless me to strive sincerely to gain the bliss of perfect freedom. Oh, bless me so that from this pure thought come mindfulness and greatest caution, to keep as my essential practice the doctrine's root, the Pratimoksha. Just like myself, all my kind mothers are drowning in samsara's ocean. Oh, so that I may soon release them, bless me to train in bodhicitta. But I cannot become a Buddha by this alone, without three ethics. So bless me with the strength to practice the Bodhisattva's ordination, by pacifying my distractions and analyzing perfect meanings. Bless me to quickly gain the union of special insight and quiescence. When I become a pure container through common paths, bless me to enter the essence practice of good fortune, the supreme vehicle Vajrayana. The two attainments both depend on my sacred vows and my commitments. Bless me to understand this clearly and keep them at the cost of my life. By constant practice in 4 sessions, the way explained by holy teachers. Oh, bless me to gain both the stages which are the essence of the Tantras. May those who guide me on the good path and my companions all have long lives. Bless me to pacify completely all obstacles, outer and inner. May I always find perfect teachers and take delight in holy Dhamma. Accomplish all grounds and pass swiftly and gain the state of Vajradhara.
And so we can meditate. So we can contemplate all phenomena exist by way of convention. Nothing is inherently existent. This applies to mind, to Buddha, and even to emptiness itself. Everything is merely imputed by mind. All phenomena have parts. Physical phenomena have physical parts. Non-physical phenomena have various parts or attributes that can be distinguished by thought. Using the same type of reasoning as above, we can realize that any phenomenon is not one of its parts, not the collection of its parts, and not separate from its parts. In this way we can realize the emptiness of all phenomena, the mere absence of all phenomena that we normally see or perceive. So bring to mind some inanimate object. A car, a house, a book. Something you're familiar with. Something you normally see. And then engage in the search process. Asking yourself, is this object one of its parts? Is this object the collection of its parts? Does this object exist separate from its parts? And from the unfindability of the object, you can realize the emptiness of the object. So you need to start with a clear image of how the object normally appears to you. And then once you cannot find it, because it is unfindable, if you return your mind to the image of the object that you normally see, and at the same time you realize it is unfindable and therefore does not exist. Perhaps you will notice the image just disappears, dissolves into empty space. And so this empty space is just like emptiness. The mere absence of the object that you normally see. So meditate for yourself on the emptiness of the object that you normally see. So now you can begin to relax your concentration. And you can arise from meditation. So I'm sorry I don't know your names. Anna? Anna and Jane. So welcome to Anna and Jane. Do you know everybody else? Have you met? Not yet. Okay. Well, maybe you could just shout out your name.
Gopton.
Michelle.
Lisa.
Susanna.
Lucy. And Sunshine.
Thank you. So we're starting on page 216. Oh, no, we're gonna...
Do the emptiness of the mind.
Yes, let's do that. So the root text, which is on page 263 in this version, with the intention to attain the ultimate supreme goal that surpasses even the wish-granting jewel, may I constantly cherish all living beings. Whenever I associate with others, may I view myself as the lowest of all, and with a pure intention, may I cherish others as supreme. Examining my mental continuum throughout all my actions, as soon as a delusion of self-cherishing develops, whereby I or others would act inappropriately, may I firmly face it and avert it. Whenever I see unfortunate beings oppressed by evil and violent suffering, may I cherish them as if I had found a rare and precious treasure. Even if someone I have helped, and of whom I had great hopes, nevertheless harms me intentionally, may I see him or her as my holy spiritual guide. When others out of jealousy or anger harm me or insult me, may I take defeat upon myself.
And offer them victory.
In short,
Directly and indirectly offer health and happiness to all my mothers, and secretly take upon myself all their harm and suffering. Furthermore, for all the above practices, together with the mind undefined by the space of conceptions and the eight extremes, and receive all phenomena as illusion, may I and all living beings be released from the bondage of the Satan appearance and conception.
and the condensed meaning on page 269. Training in Ultimate Bodhicitta has 10 parts.
The emptiness of our body, the emptiness of our mind, the emptiness of our life, the emptiness that is empty of eight extremes, conventional and ultimate truth, the union of the two truths, the practice of emptiness in our daily activities, the purpose of meditating on emptiness, a simple training in ultimate bodhicitta.
So we can go back to page 216, the emptiness of our I.
Did you do, you know, when I wasn't here, did you do an extra bit on the emptiness of our mind? I thought we got up to the end of
Where are
2
you?
and 4.
I thought we'd done that. No?
We need
Okay.
to familiarise our mind.
Okay.
That's why.
Well, so we're starting at the emptiness of our mind.
Yeah.
Okay. In training the mind in 7 points, after outlining how to engage in analytical meditation on the emptiness of inherent existence of outer phenomena such as our body, Geshe Chekawa continues by saying that we should then analyze our own mind to understand how it lacks inherent existence. Our mind is not an independent entity, but an ever-changing continuum that depends upon many factors, such as its previous moments, its objects, and the inner energy winds upon which the minds are mounted. So, anything that depends upon something else cannot be inherently existent. Inherent existence means its whole existence is encapsulated within the thing itself. And nothing exists like that. Everything exists in dependence upon causes, for example. Exists in dependence upon parts. Exists in dependence upon being imputed by a conceptual mind. So our mind is ever-changing continuum that depends upon many factors. If you remember, the definition of mind is that which is clarity, like clear empty space, but functions to cognize. So there is never a moment of mind without an object. So, if you think of the continuum of your own mind, you have many objects. You have different objects every moment almost, unless you're in single-pointed concentration. But normally our mind's jumping around to all kinds of different objects. So the mind in any moment is dependent upon whichever object is appearing in our mind, whichever object is cognizing. It's dependent upon its previous moment, because one moment of mind is the cause of the next moment. And the next moment is an effect of its previous moment. So the current moment is dependent upon its previous moment. Without the previous moment, the current moment would not appear, would not arise. And every mind is mounted upon an energy wind. So the usual way of thinking about this is like the mind is like a rider that has no legs. And the energy wind is like a horse that has no eyes. So the horse cannot decide where to go, but it can go. The mind, which is the rider, cannot go anywhere on their own, but they can decide where they want to go. So the two combined are able to move from object to object, and they're able to decide which objects to move to. So if I say to you, look at the fireplace, your mind will move to the fireplace, because there's an inner energy wind upon which your sense power, your eye sense power is mounted. So your eye sense power is mounted on an energy wind that enables you to turn your head to look at the fireplace. And so every mind that you have is mounted upon an energy wind. Like everything else, our mind is imputed upon a collection of many factors and therefore lacks inherent existence. A primary mind or consciousness, for example, has 5 parts or mental factors. If you've studied how to understand the mind, you'll know that there are 5 mental factors that are always accompanying every moment of mind. So the mental factor feeling, discrimination, intention, contact, and attention. So these 5 are always present in every moment of mind. And so each moment of mind is therefore dependent upon what is happening in each of these mental factors. What am I feeling right now? What am I discriminating right now? What is my intention right now? What objects are appearing to me? My mind makes contact with objects. And what am I holding my attention on? So every moment of mind is dependent upon all of these together. Neither the individual mental factors nor the collection of these mental factors is the primary mind itself, because they are mental factors and therefore parts of the primary mind. So primary minds are different from mental factors, but primary minds are comprised of mental factors. There is no primary mind without mental factors. However, there is no primary mind that is separate from these mental factors. A primary mind is merely imputed upon the mental factors that are its basis of imputation, and therefore it does not exist from its own side. So there's no primary mind without mental factors. You can't find anything that you can say, well, that's a primary mind, but there are no mental factors associated with it. It's the combination of mental factors that make up the primary mind, and that's all. So the mental factors that are present in any primary mind are the basis of imputation of that mind. And therefore that mind does not exist from its own side because it is dependent upon its basis of imputation. The word imputation is something that is made up by a conceptual thought. Something created by a conceptual thought. So we impute a particular mind, like I have a sad mind or I have a happy mind. Those are imputed. Both of these are imputed in dependence upon the mental factors that comprise that mind. So that sad mind or happy mind does not exist from its own side. So, if we understand that, then we can just change our primary mind just by changing the mental factors. Yeah. One of them is faith. faith. If we have the mental factor faith involved in any moment of mind, then that mind itself, the whole mind is virtuous, and all the mental factors associated with it are virtuous. And the word virtue means that which is the cause of happiness. So we can just change our mind from sad to happy just by having faith. And engaging in other virtuous types of mind, like love and compassion, wisdom. Having identified the nature of our primary mind, which is an empty-like space that perceives or understands objects, we then search for it within its parts: feeling, discrimination, intention, contact, and attention, until finally we realize its unfindability, the unfindability of our mind. This unfindability is its ultimate nature, or emptiness. And then we think, all phenomena that appear to my mind are the nature of my mind. There's no phenomenon. We've already established the emptiness of all phenomena. So all phenomena that appear to my mind are the nature of my mind. So the objects that are appearing to our mind are simply the nature of our mind. My mind is the nature of emptiness. So this enables you to establish two things. One is the emptiness of all phenomena, and the emptiness of mind together. So what's happening? If our mind is lacking in inherent existence, and all phenomena are lacking in inherent existence, then everything is just simply appearance to a conceptual mind. And appearance is not outside your mind. Appearance is just part of your mind. If something's appearing to you, it's appearing to your mind. Yes, no. So that's all we have, is just appearance. So, at the moment you're appearing in foundation program. But are you really here? Only you will know. In this way, we feel that everything dissolves into emptiness. I mean, just that sentence alone. All phenomena that appear to my mind are the nature of my mind, and my mind itself is the nature of emptiness. That's all we have, is emptiness. We perceive only the emptiness of all phenomena, and we meditate on this emptiness. This way of meditating on emptiness is more profound than the meditation on the emptiness of our body. Gradually our experience of emptiness will become clearer and clearer, until finally we gain an undefiled wisdom that directly realizes the emptiness of all phenomena. So this meditation on the emptiness of our mind is enabling our mind to mix more easily with emptiness. And when our mind mixes more easily with emptiness, we find it easier to realize emptiness directly. And if we're developing a concentration of tranquil abiding, then just by these two things, being able to mix our mind with emptiness and remain in single-pointed concentration, so we progress through the 9 mental abidings, then naturally we become a superior bodhisattva. Just naturally. Yeah. Just through the power of our own effort. Doesn't depend upon anything else. It depends on just understanding these teachings and putting them into practice. Okay, good. Yes. So it's important that you feel that this is possible. I mean, this is helping us to overcome self-grasping ignorance, which is the root of all our problems. It's only from self-grasping ignorance that we grasp at an inherently existent self. And because of grasping an inherently existent self, we spontaneously cherish that self. And because we cherish that self, then we have self-cherishing, and then from self-cherishing, we have all the other delusions. And because we have delusions, we act upon delusions, we create suffering, both in this life and future lives. We create negative karma that doesn't all ripen in 1 year, in one lifetime. You create any negative karma today?
Lots.
Because you grasp at things as inherently existent. If you didn't grasp at things as being inherently existent, you wouldn't be creating negative karma. Cool. So then, now we've done the emptiness of our body, the emptiness of our mind, we can go on to the emptiness of our I. The object we grasp at most strongly is ourself, or I. Due to the imprints of self-grasping ignorance accumulated over time without beginning, our I appears to us as inherently existent, and our self-grasping mind automatically grasps at it in this way. Although we grasp at an inherently existent I all the time, even during sleep, it is not easy to identify how it appears to our mind. To identify it clearly, we must begin by allowing it to manifest strongly, by contemplating situations in which we have an exaggerated sense of I, such as when we are embarrassed, ashamed, afraid, or indignant. So it's like we have an extreme of emotion. And it's in those moments of extremes of emotion, we have an exaggerated sense of I. So it's like the two go together. If you watch a child having a tantrum, they have an exaggerated sense of I. And so they have strong sense of self. We recall or imagine such a situation and then, without any comment or analysis, try to gain a clear mental image of how the I naturally appears at such times. So it can take a long time to develop a clear mental image of our I, because it's so sneaky. It tends to hide away most of the time. So it's generally when we have strong, exaggerated emotions that our I appears more easily and more clearly. So, for example, if you find it difficult, you could imagine that the ground underneath you is just opening up and you're just falling into space. And then you tend to have a clear image of, you're not just thinking my body is falling or my mind is falling or my body and mind are falling, you're thinking I am falling. I'm falling into space. Or I'm embarrassed, I'm ashamed, I'm afraid because there's this truck bearing down on me. We have to be patient at this stage because it may take many sessions before we can gain a clear image. And so it's important to really strive to develop a clear image of the I we normally see. In other words, it's like we're developing a clear image of the target that we're going to dissolve into emptiness. And so we don't want to miss the target. We don't want to be dissolving something else into emptiness. We want to be dissolving the I, the self that we normally see. Eventually we will see that the I appears to be completely solid and real, existing from its own side, without depending upon the body or the mind. In the same way, that's what when we think about our body, we think of it as a solid thing and real, existing from its own side, without depending upon the mind. This vividly appearing I is the inherently existent I that we cherish so strongly. It is the I that we defend when we are criticized, and that we are so proud of when we are praised. So again, this is describing the process by which we can identify the I, and then, having searched for it and not being able to find it, we come to the realization, as we did with the mind and other objects, that it is unfindable. And this unfindability is a generic image of emptiness, the mere absence of the thing we normally see. Once we have an image of how the I appears in these extreme circumstances, we should try to identify how it appears normally in less extreme situations. For example, we can observe the I that is presently reading this book and try to discover how it appears to our mind. Eventually we will see that although in this case there is not such an inflated sense of I, nevertheless the I still appears to be inherently existent, existing from its own side without depending upon the body or the mind. So it's an I that appears separate from the book, for example. and is not existing independent upon anything else. And once we have an image of the inherently existent I, we focus on it for a while with single-pointed concentration. So, what I was referring to a moment ago was that we're thinking of an inherently existent self and an inherently existent book. And the two are separate things. We're not thinking that this body and mind and the book are just appearances to mind. But that's all they really are. What was that? All the phenomena that appear to my mind are the nature of my mind. And my mind is the nature of emptiness. Once we have an image of the inherently existent I, we focus on it for a while with single-pointed concentration. Then in meditation we proceed to the next stage, which is to contemplate valid reasons to prove that the inherently existent I we are grasping at does not in fact exist. The inherently existent I and ourself that we normally see are the same. We should know that neither exists. Both are objects negated by emptiness. If the I exists in the way that it appears, it must exist in one of four ways: as the body, as the mind, as the collection of the body and mind, or as something separate from the body and mind. There's no other possibility. The body, the mind, the collection of body and mind, separate from body and mind. We contemplate this carefully until we become convinced that this is the case, and then we proceed to examine each of the four possibilities. If our I is our body, there's no sense in saying my body, because the possessor and the possessed are identical. So when we say my body, we're suggesting that there is a me, an I or a self, that is the owner and possessor of body, the thing that is possessed. And they can never be the same. So when we're saying if our self is our body, then that wouldn't be nonsensical to say my body. Because when we say the I is our body, it means that the possessor and the thing that is possessed are the same thing. I, the possessor, body, the thing is possessed, same thing. I is our body. It doesn't make sense. If we say my body, it doesn't make sense if we say my body, which we normally do. We normally think of ourself as the owner of our body. Two separate entities. If our I is our body, there is no future rebirth, because the I ceases when the body dies. So the self, we can only have this life, which is a bit of a problem, because then we have to deny the existence of future lives and essentially of past lives as well. We deny the existence of past lives. Where did we come from? Our body comes from our parents, but where does our mind come from? The mind is not produced from the body, so the parents can't just produce a new mind. It must have come from its previous moment of mind. So in the same way, we understand that our mind is a continuum, and even is separate from body. And when this body is finished with, then our mind will continue into its next self, But if our I and our body are identical, then there's no future rebirth, because when this body dies, then there is nothing. There's nothing else, nothing. If our I and our body are identical, and since we are capable of developing faith, dreaming, solving mathematical puzzles and so on, it follows that flesh, blood and bones can do the same. So, because we, self, can do these things, if our I and our body are the same thing, then it follows that the components of our body, flesh, blood and bones, can develop faith. It can dream, it can solve mathematical puzzles, which is nonsense. So none of that is true, so it follows that our I is not our body. If our I is our mind, there's no sense in saying my mind, which we often do. I made up my mind, I changed my mind. Because again, the possessor and the possessed are the same thing. But usually when we focus on our mind, we say my mind. This clearly indicates that our I is not our mind. If our I is our mind, then since we have many types of mind, such as the 6 consciousnesses, the 6 consciousnesses are the eye sense consciousness, ear sense, nose sense consciousness, tongue sense consciousness, touch sense consciousness, or body sense consciousness, and mental consciousness. So these are the 6 consciousnesses. We have all kinds of conceptual minds, and we have non-conceptual minds. Non-conceptual minds are what we perceive with our sense awarenesses. It follows that we have just as many eyes. So of all these different types of minds, if our I is our mind, then we have, an implication is because we have many types of mind, we have many selves. Since this is absurd, our I cannot be our mind. And then thirdly, since our body is not our I and our mind is not our I, the collection of our body and mind cannot be our I. The collection of our body and mind is a collection of things that are not our I. So how can the collection itself be our I? The collection itself, how can that be our I? So the collection is just a number of things. And in this case, the body and mind, neither the body nor the mind is our self or our I. So they're both non-selves or non-Is. And so we talk about a collection of non-selves. So collection of non-selves, collection of these individual things that are not selves, cannot become a self. In a herd of cows, none of the animals is a sheep. Therefore the herd itself is not sheep. In the same way, in the collection of our body and mind, neither our body nor our mind is our I. Therefore the collection itself is not our I. And then finally, looking for a self or I that is separate from body and mind, If our eye is not our body, not our mind, and not the collection of our body and mind, the only possibility that remains is that it is something separate from our body and mind. If this is the case, we must be able to apprehend our eye without either our body or our mind appearing. But if we imagine that our body and our mind were completely to disappear, there would be nothing remaining that could be called our eye. Therefore, it follows that our eye is not separate from our body and mind. We should imagine that our body gradually dissolves into thin air, and then our mind dissolves. Our thoughts scatter with the wind. Our feelings, wishes, and awareness melt into nothingness. Is there anything left that is our eye? There is nothing. Clearly, our eye is not something separate from our body and mind. So we have now examined all four possibilities and have failed to find our I or self. Since we have already decided that there is no fifth possibility, we must conclude that our I, that we normally grasp at and cherish, does not exist at all. Where there previously appeared an inherently existent I, there now appears an absence of that I. This absence of an inherently existent I is emptiness, ultimate truth. We contemplate in this way until there appears to us a generic or mental image of the absence of ourself that we normally see. Just like the image that we started this search with, the image of ourself that we started with, and we realize it doesn't exist. And then all we're left with is the absence of the existence of that self. And this absence, this image of the absence of ourself that we normally see, is our object of placement meditation. We try to become completely familiar with it by continually meditating on it single-pointedly for as long as possible. Because we have grasped at our inherently existent I since beginningless time, and have cherished it more dearly than anything else, the experience of failing to find ourselves in meditation can be quite shocking at first. Some people develop fear, thinking, I have become completely non-existent. Others feel great joy, as if the source of all their problems were vanishing. Both reactions are good signs and indicate correct meditation. After a while, these initial reactions will subside, and our mind will settle into a more balanced state. Then we will be able to meditate on the emptiness of ourself in a calm, controlled manner. We should allow our mind to become absorbed in space like emptiness, or space like emptiness, for as long as possible. It is important to remember that our object is emptiness, the mere absence of ourself that we normally see, and not mere nothingness. So emptiness and nothingness are not the same. So in nothingness, nothing exists, but everything exists in emptiness. As mere appearance. And these appearances exist, but only within mind. Occasionally we should check our meditation with alertness. If our mind has wandered to another object, or we've lost the meaning of emptiness and are focusing on mere nothingness, we should return to the contemplations to bring the emptiness of ourself clearly to mind once again. We may wonder if myself that I normally see does not exist, then who is meditating? Who will get up from meditation, speak to others and reply when my name is called? Although our self that we normally see does not exist, this does not mean that our self does not exist at all. We exist as a mere imputation. And that imputation is an appearance to a conceptual mind. So long as we are satisfied with the mere imputation of ourself, there is no problem. We can think, I exist, I'm going to town, and so on. The problem arises only when we look for ourself other than the mere conceptual imputation, I, ourself. Our mind grabs at an I that ultimately exists, independently of conceptual imputation, as if there were a real I existing behind the label. If such an I existed, we'd be able to find it. But we've seen that our I cannot be found upon investigation. The conclusion of our search was a definite non-finding of ourself. This unfindability of ourself is the emptiness of ourself, the ultimate nature of ourself. So ultimate means there is nothing else. If we're deconstructing the self that we normally see, and we're searching for something that truly exists, there's nothing to find. And all we find is emptiness, the emptiness of ourself. Our self that exists as mere imputation is our existent self. In the same way, phenomena that exist as mere imputation are existent phenomena. There are no self and other phenomena that exist other than mere imputation. So everything is a mere imputation. Everything that appears to your mind is a mere imputation. Everything that appears to my mind is the nature of my mind. The nature of my mind. And my mind is the nature of emptiness. So both everything that appears to my mind and my mind are the nature of emptiness. Problem solved. In truth, our self and other phenomena that exist as mere imputation are the ultimate nature of our self and other phenomena, not the conventional nature. At first, these explanations are difficult to understand, but please be patient. We should apply effort to receive the powerful blessings of Wisdom Buddha Je Tsongkhapa through sincerely engaging in the practice of Heart Jo, or wish-fulfilling Jo. So receiving the blessings of Je Tsongkhapa, Wisdom Buddha, will enable you to realize the emptiness of yourself and all other phenomena. So nothing happens without blessings. And to receive blessings, we need to make a connection with enlightened beings. And it's that connection, through that connection, that we are empowered to develop these wisdoms and develop these compassions and love and bodhicitta and so on. We can't do it on our own. It's like trying to climb Mount Everest on your own with no equipment. So we can stop there. Or do you want me to continue? I'm just kidding.
So we'll have Anna and Simon shake these, Jane and Eddie, Dogden and Mark, Lisa and Susanna, and I'll have a chat. That's some quite fun, right? Is that okay, Lauren?
He says,
Then go and try and get
that's all that helps, doesn't it, doing this now, helps you get started. Yeah, the exercise is the things that are at the end of the summer. This is where sometimes not in our
just in the beginning, so we have a bit of meditation,
Okay, so we're not there. We're going.
This is going to hit it now. And my eyes got to look. You know, like every full slows down. And then the thing is that's because you can't. Remember that feeling.
Because, I mean, how many
I'm just
First of all, I think and then we take it through the
I probably don't experience it. I think I'll be probably what do you guys think?
parents, why, and then through that goes into
I get a push myself.
and you think that you
Still fighting to go and still having Like some people, but when you read a face sounds like a lot of You sort of like you kind of understand the dynamic before you're on the platform, and then you get like intense, you know, and sort of like a heartfelt feeling. So you get into the reflection and stuff, and you have it's very relevant.
I find
I do it in like an official way, you know. It's that person's yeah.
or even just
So I left it till after Christmas, so I knew decided I didn't like it.
Yeah.
She's not He did. He used to write it in the songs.
Yeah.
Sometimes he called that.
Then Tuesday, the day off.
He just let me know. Need a lot of things.
So would you prepare for next week? From bottom of page 221, the emptiness that is empty of 8 extremes, to the end of the middle paragraph on page 226 that ends with, there is no basis for becoming upset if we are separated from them.
How many pages is that?
We've got
Just 5 pages.
It's halfway down the 5th page. Is that right?
Yes.
Hang on. Sorry, Lisa.
10 sides, though, 5 pages.
Yeah, one, I was just about to say that, yeah.
Okay.
1, 2, 3.
It's just the end of disintegration. The extreme of disintegration.
Oh, hang on, I'm looking at the wrong bit.
226, the bottom of the second paragraph. I mean, where it says separated from.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I've just got I've got a Kindle, so I don't have pages.
Does that make sense, Lisa?
Yeah.
Five sides is right. Before that.
Everyone okay? Do you have a meditation for next week?
I think it's obvious, isn't it?
Very obvious, that one.
Very obvious, that one. No brainer.
Okay.
Now nobody knows what it is.
It's a no-brainer.
A no-brainer. Have you been listening?
challenging that. We did do emptiness of mind before we did emptiness of eye. There were, in theory, 2 meditations we could do this week. We've done mind as well as eye, but we do the biggie.
Yes, the biggie.
Let's cut to the chase.
Are you mentioning put your leaflets? Medicine with the next few and
Oh, you want me to be a salesperson?
The fella's lunch on the back of it. A nice fella on the back.
Oh, who is he?
Oh, I wouldn't trust him as far as I can throw him.
Hey, so it's medicine Buddha empowerment. So, like I said earlier, you need to make a special connection with enlightened beings. In this case, medicine Buddha is create connection that we can use to purify our inner and outer sufferings. And we can do it for other people as well. So the empowerment will be at from 11 to about 12:30, and then it's got some commentary in the afternoon. We might have time to do one of the prayers.
We've got a meditation at 9. So.
Yes, and we have a meditation at 9. Yes, that Cogden's kindly going to do. So, be there. And then the following week, we have so many good things arranged for you. Is overcoming stress and anxiety with Kadam Pauline.
I'm sure what's that.
Is she a
years?
only applies to resident teachers though.
Oh, does it?
Yeah,
Let her know.
I misspoke.
We'll give it to them on.
Yeah. So she's a Kadampa teacher. Pauline Kinbraid. Thank you. It's stress and anxiety.
Om Muni Muni Maha Muni Swaha. Om Muni Muni Maha Muni Swaha. Through the virtues I have collected, by practicing the stages of the path, may all living beings find the opportunity to practice in the same way. However many living beings there are, experiencing mental and physical suffering, may their suffering cease through the power of my merit, and may they find everlasting happiness and joy. May everyone experience the happiness of humans and gods, and quickly attain enlightenment, so that samsara is finally extinguished. For the benefit of all living beings as extensive as space, may I attain great wisdom like that of Manjushri, great compassion like that of Avalokiteshvara, great power like that of Vajrapani. The Buddha Dhamma is the supreme medicine that relieves all mental pain. So may this precious Dhamma jewel pervade all worlds throughout space. May there arise in the minds of all living beings great faith in Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha, and thus may they always receive the blessings of the 3 precious gems, May there never arise in this world the miseries of incurable disease, famine, or war, or the dangers of earthquakes, fires, floods, storms, and so forth. May all mother beings meet precious teachers, who reveal the stages of the path to enlightenment, and through engaging in this path, may they quickly attain the ultimate peace of full enlightenment. Through the blessings of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, the truth of actions and their effects, and the power of my pure superior intention, may all my prayers be fulfilled. So let the tradition of Tsongkhapa, the King of the Dhamma, may flourish. May all obstacles be pacified, and may all favorable conditions abound. Through the two collections of myself and others, gathered throughout the three times, may the doctrine of Conqueror Losandrapa flourish forevermore. Crown ornament of the scholars of the Lord of the Snows, you are Buddha Shakyamuni and Vajradhara, the source of all attainments. Avalokiteshvara, the treasury of unobservable compassion. Manjushri, the supreme stainless wisdom. And Vajrapani, the destroyer of the horse of Mars. O venerable Guru Buddha, synthesis of all three truths, with my body, speech, and mind, respectfully I make request. Please grant your blessings to ripen and liberate myself and others, and bestow the common and supreme attainments. Tsongkhapa, crown ornament of the scholars of the land of the snows, you are Buddha Shakyamuni and Vajradhara, the source of all attainments. Avalokiteshvara, the treasury of unobservable compassion. Manjushri, the supreme stainless wisdom. And Vajrapani, the destroyer of the horse of Mars. O venerable Guru Buddha, synthesis of all three truths, with my body, speech, and mind, respectfully I make request. Please grant your blessings to ripen and liberate myself and others, and bestow source of all attainment, Avavakiteshvara, the treasury of unobservable compassion, Manjushri, the supreme stainless wisdom, and Vajrapani, the destroyer of the hosts of Maras. O venerable Guru Buddha, synthesis of all three truths, with my body, speech, and mind, respectfully I make request. Please grant your blessings to ripen and liberate myself and others, and bestow the common and supreme attainment.
Thank you, everyone.
So Anna and Jane, you don't want to go, do you want to go running to the hills?
I can't though, because my car doesn't exist, so I don't know.